Alright, so I'm back at the marathon at Olive and Western, which means I am, at the moment, sitting in Crown City territory. I am now going to travel to the location of the Cayley Street shooting that happened recently. I will then demonstrate how easy it is to get from there to the location that the shooting happened on Sample at Don Juan Cantina and Grill last night, and then back to the area where Cayley Street shooting happened. I'm really trying to show people how easy, air quotes, sliding on the ops, air quotes, spinning the block really is in these urban environments. So, here we go. We're going to leave the marathon at Olive and Western, make the journey, make the demonstration, give the presentation. So now we're making a right onto Olive, heading north. Okay, we're north on Olive, crossing Western. On my left is a new Mexican-owned grocery store that's going in where the old P&A used to be. We're now on Olive, headed north towards Orange Street. When we get to Orange Street, we're going to make a left. And that is going to take us directly towards the Amtrak station in South Bend. On this gloomy, rainy, dingy Sunday in the Midwest. We're crossing Washington Street, headed north on Olive still. We'll now make a left at Orange, which will take us west. Straight ahead and on the right is South Bend Fire Department, engine number 4. Shout out to those guys, the whole South Bend Fire Department. I also want to give a shout out to the Chicago Fire Department and to Engine 78. I want to give a shout out to the Gary Fire Department. A few shout outs for the day. North on Olive, making a left, we're headed west on Orange Street. Directly in front of us is the South Bend Amtrak station on Meade Street. We will make a left at Meade Street and go back south. Up and over the tracks. We're now facing south on Meade Street. We're going to make a right-hand turn right here. We're now facing west on Colfax. We are at Cayley. I will make a left. We will be traveling south on Cayley. We're facing due south on Cayley Street in South Bend. We are now crossing Washington Street on Cayley. We are now approaching Newcomb Street. We are now crossing Jefferson on Cayley. Right about in here is where the shooting happened. We will continue south. Everything on my left at this point is lakeside territory. As we continue south from the 200 block of Cayley, we approach Western Avenue. Everything in front of me at this point, Crown City territory. I'm on Cayley facing south. I'm at Western. I make my turn, I'm headed west on Western. Everything to my right, Lakeside. Everything to my left, Crown City. When I get to Kentucky, I'm going left, which is back to the south. When I get to Kentucky Street, that is. I'm turning left and going back to the south. We're on Western going west. We are now at the intersection of Dundee, Western and Dundee. We have La Central Bakery on my right. They're open, by the way. And now, heading west on Western still, we are approaching Kentucky Street. So we're going to make a left. We're now headed south on Kentucky Street. South of Western, we are in Crown City territory. That is Harrison Elementary School on my right-hand side. First stop sign, Huron Street. Kentucky and Huron. We will let the car coming towards us, they are going to allow us to come through. So we will go ahead and go through. I'm going to wave at them so they see I appreciate them letting me come through. Next stop sign is going to be Ford Street, Kentucky and Ford Street. Definitely in an area of Crown City territory here that's very traditional, very much a central point of this area. We're now headed still south, going to curve a little to the southwest, crossing Vermont Street, coming up to the next stop sign on Kentucky, which will be Dunham. Another police car here on my right. Crossing Revere on Kentucky, and now we're at Sample Street. Facing south on Kentucky, at Sample, we're going to make a right and go west on Sample. We're crossing Lake on Sample. And there it is, Don Juan Cantina and Grill. Boom, that quick, from the Cayley Street shooting location to the Don Juan shooting location. Come down 2 blocks, technically. Hit Kenmore. We already crossed Falcon immediately when we hit Don Julio's. Don Juan's, rather. But you can probably get Don Julio there. So let's be serious. So now we're headed back north on Kenmore. Crossing all the same side streets, Dunham. Ford. On Kenmore, still headed north. The next street back to my east would be Falcon, which runs right along the one side of where Don Juan Cantina and Grill is. Huron, as we continue to head north on Kenmore. Slide over, let the truck come by just as the person did for us on the previous block, which is reciprocation for those that don't know. And boom, here we are immediately back facing north on Kenmore, and this is Western Avenue. Watch what happens when I drive across Western Avenue on Kenmore. We just left Crown City territory again, and we just pulled back into Lakeside territory. again. It's that easy. And if you look at the map, when I'm on the map doing the pre-recorded videos with the map on the screen, all these side streets out here in this little border region of two gang sets. We're now back at Jefferson. We're going to take this, head east, get back towards my area of town. But all these side streets out here run like this. It's a gridded system. It's a grid system. So it's that easy, literally, to just boom, bam, a couple rights, a couple lefts, in and out, unseen, unheard. I mean, the police say they don't have any suspect information in any of these shootings other than the guy being in custody for the shooting at the 66 on Portage. It's this easy. And the reason I keep driving this point home at this point in time, as I'm now headed back east on Washington Street, I'm driving the point home because if we don't get a handle on this as a community, if we do not get a handle on this, it's going to get a lot worse. Because the population continues to grow. The official population of the city continues to grow. The real population of the city at any given moment in time is probably nominally higher than what the official population is. People from other places hiding out, in transition, whatever the case may be, living here even though they're not necessarily residing here in the sense of having a residence here. Right? Like living with a friend, a family member, perhaps a fellow member of a gang, that kind of thing. And I'm really just trying to show people, like, I think at this point, it's alarming that this is happening weekly, this is happening more frequently, so on and so forth. But it's even more alarming because we're not really to the nice weather part of the year yet, where everybody's just outside all the time. Summer with different things, going on around the city and stuff, and just the way it is, man. People are out and moving around more the nicer it gets out. Over the course of late spring, summer, early fall, that period of time, it could get a lot worse if we don't get some kind of handle on it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see how you get a handle on it that quick. You know what I mean? I was telling somebody the other day, like, I ain't going, and I'll say it here, and people can say I'm crazy. If I was the mayor of South Bend, that's a 4-year term, okay? If I was the mayor of South Bend, within the first year of my first term, we could significantly reduce not only violent crime in general, but gang crime. Violent gang crime. Within the first year. But I don't see how you do it. Summer's right around the corner. Like just a little over a month away. So I don't see how it gets done that quick. So we're probably going to have a little bit of a rough patch. But the question is, how long is that rough patch and how rough does it get before we start to say as a community that what we're doing is not working? Even if that means that we have all the politicians and whoever else in the city government structure telling us, oh no, it's working. No, it's not working. And I just showed you how easy it is. Bro, I'm not from that side of town. I made my way over to that side of town. Drove the route once myself. Went, parked at a gas station. Started the video. Went and showed you. Nobody knew I was out there. Now I'm not live, of course, but nobody knew I was out there. And I'm not even affiliated. I'm not in the life, man. Imagine the guys in the life that are like, they want to go get somebody. You know what I'm saying? And there's guys like that move the way I move, unseen and unheard when I don't want to be seen or heard, and vice versa, right? It's that simple. got to get a handle on it somehow. As I drive these corridors on this end of town, that's a lot of old industrial, semi-industrial, just different places where you could have different types of shops set up, places where people could go to work and have jobs. When there's a lack of jobs, or there's a lack of jobs that pay a wage that's competitive with the cost of living in an area, what you get is the criminal element. And when the criminal element happens, gangs happen. Over the long course of time, the names of gangs change, the boundaries change here and there. But at the end of the day, where you have a lack of jobs, and you have a lack of jobs that pay a wage that's competitive with cost of living, you have the criminal element coming into play. And when that happens, you have gangs come into play. And what that does is that's not the progenitor of the violence. The progenitor of the violence is a spiritual condition. But it definitely heightens it, because now it's an organized thing. It's war in a very real sense out here in these streets. Again, thankfully, at this point, none of the shooting victims in South Bend have died. I don't suspect it'll be very long before that changes. Because the more tit for tat you have, the more heated things get. Now people are going to stop shooting below the waist. They're going to start shooting above the waist. Eventually people are going to stop doing the jump shooting, and they're going to start walking people down. It's just it's a bad situation. And this quickly, 5 minutes? And I'm right back in the heart of downtown by Central High, which according to the gang map, there's a GD set that operates out of this building, but I don't know. I don't have any real awareness of that, per se. So anyways, there's another, another two-piece for y'all, a map video and an on-the-street real video. And, if you're in South Bend, man, just be aware of your surroundings is all I can tell you. Because you don't have to be a part of anything. You can just be at the wrong spot at the wrong time and just be absolutely tragic. There was a situation that occurred in Chicago not all that long ago, and shooting occurred. The shooters, when they were trying to make their getaway, they were doing like 100. Police started chasing them. They hit a stroller while they was trying to get away and killed a 1-year-old baby. So nah, you ain't really got to be involved in nothing or got nothing to do with nothing to catch the wrong end of some shit if it goes left. Look how close Trump came to getting his head blown off because somebody was a bad shot, essentially, and he moved at the last minute. Thank God. It's like that. It's war out here. It's a very real war in a very real sense. I'm just trying to give people that aren't involved in it, because I'm a civilian, so I'm trying to communicate to civilians the lay of the land. Give people the resources to know, what the situation is wherever they may be in the city, right? Doing some ambassador type shit, you know what I mean? To anybody that may see these videos. And you know what? I don't feel bad for doing it. Not in the slightest. Because if you go talk to people who, I know a number of people. I know a number of people from various other cities who were verified gang members in the cities they came from. And they laid their flags down, right? And then ended up leaving those cities, and obviously they relocated to South Bend, right? These were guys I worked with, so these were guys that were not active gang members or anything like that. They were working and doing their normal thing, right? But, to a man, each one of them told me, like, before they moved here, they kind of did a little research, and even after they moved here, they did a little research because they wanted to figure out, like, where were, neighborhoods, like, where were the neighborhoods at that are friendly or are, like, the hangout areas, like I'm showing you on the map, for the gang they were affiliated with in the city they came from. Because that's where they're going to kind of gravitate towards. But certainly if they know neighborhoods are that gangs that they would have been ops with in their old cities, they'll stay away from them. And it's not because everybody's active, it's because you get guys that move down and some guys move out of cities, lay the flag down and just move somewhere else and go legit. Some guys move somewhere else and they're able to just sort of reactivate because they're not really operating under the act or the jurisdiction of the people, same people as when they were in the city they came out of, right? So then when that happens, then you can start getting shootings. And that's where you get cities like South Bend that aren't really typically used to seeing this level of violence, And again, this has been going on. This goes back to 2018. So yeah, I'm just a civilian trying to give civilians a lay of the land of like, this is where it's at. This is what the deal is. Like, be aware of your surroundings. Because let's be honest. Like for me, for example, I like to go every now and then. I'll slide out to Rosales and I go to the restaurant they have in there and get tacos or whatever, right? I'll go and check in with my folks out at the Western Auto Zone, here and there, like different people at different places. A lot of the places that people think of going to, like, oh, if I'm in South Bend, I want to go there. Well, there might be dead ass in between two gang sets. I mean, there was a shooting in Chicago where a kid was working at a damn candy warehouse, like a candy warehouse where you could actually go and shop there too. Think like the Michigan City outlets, but it was a candy store. He's working there. He's out loading some lady's car, and the ops pulled up and shot this dude to death in front of this lady. This lady was just standing there in shock, traumatized when the police and the ambulances showed up, and the kid was just dead on the ground. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just a heads up. It's just a heads up. And sort of a canary in the coal mine, man. A call I'm sending out to everybody. Like, it's not all beautiful over here like the people that run this city would have you think. It's not all beautiful like that. You see what I'm saying? There's definitely a dark side. And all these different social media publications giving us awards and stuff. Y'all have clearly not been here. And clearly the outside world is not seeing the same information that we're seeing inside the city. And I don't even think those of us inside the city are seeing all of it at this point still. So with that, let me get up out of here, get the video, all put together and posted. Another live stream coming. Probably the biggest one I've ever done. I don't know if it'll do the biggest numbers I've ever done, but for me personally, and in terms of the content and understanding what I've been doing for the better part now of going on 7 years with a little break in between, biggest one. So, be safe, be good to each other, be good to yourselves like I'm about to be. I'm about to go get something good to eat for dinner. And I'll see you guys shortly. I'll see you guys around, as I always say. All right.